you go out and listen from morning to night, there's nothing but screaming, yelling, crimes going on.
Have you been downtown?
No one takes care of it.
Have you been down there yourself, Anna?
People doing things continuously and constantly, but no one comes for them. People live in fear.
Yes.
People sitting there, I'd like to let you know that the unbelievers, mostly are living in fear. They're fearful.
The downtown has become a very dangerous place in Calgary, and people are tired of it. Anna, have you seen downtown? Have you seen the street church, what they're doing, or no?
Oh, yes.
You have, okay.
Yes, and I think it's beautiful, and continue to preach the Word of God. And there's no one in my church who would ever disagree with this.
So you don't think there's an issue there noise-wise at all, from what you've seen?
No, I don't. It's God's Word being preached, and people need to hear. They need to be drawn. The Holy Spirit needs to draw them. The Word of God needs to be preached. What did God say to the apostles? Go out and preach the gospel to all of the world. That's it.
Okay.
Amen.
Yes, that's all I have to say.
All right.
I will be praying
Appreciate that,
for
Anna.
your ministry, certainly, and just keep on going in a straight line. Align yourself with God. Listen to God. Do His work. That's your job. God has given you
All right.
gifts.
Thanks for that, Anna. Okay.
Amen.
Anna's got some encouragement for you there. All right. There's the website on the screen and a phone number as well. If you want to get involved in that, by all means. All right. I mean, I know you can use some volunteers, some prayer support, some financial support, all of that. Right. And maybe not everybody's going to come downtown. I know it is technically, I mean, really a dangerous and practically a dangerous place.
It is.
However, I know you have some older people, some in their 80s, and you have some teenagers that help you too. They go out there because they feel God wants them to be there physically as well, whether it's handing out food. Although it's interesting, again, because you're actually technically breaking the law again by, not having a permit to hand out food, but you do it anyway, because they need food. I mean, so there's another question for you. Is that breaking the law? Is it going against what God wants by feeding the poor, even though the city says you can't do it? You know what I mean? I mean, to me, I'm thinking, you know what? I personally would probably feel somewhat justified feeding the poor. I'm thinking, come on, are you really going to give me a ticket for this? But you've had a number of tickets for that, haven't you?
That's right.
Okay. We have a situation that lots of people come to us who sleep outside. Right now, winter is coming. We know it's already cold.
Yeah.
And we have for them winter jackets because they've been kicked from those shelters. They're not allowed to stay there, whatever the issue is,
Yeah, sometimes there's various issues where people aren't allowed to come into the shelter, whether they've caused a problem or maybe there's even a personality disagreement with somebody who works there, fine. They have the power not to let that person back in. I mean, that's life, right? But you're helping these people regardless, which is good. Hey, you know what? Before I forget here as well, we did talk about the sign being quote-unquote stolen. Let me show some footage of that. Tell us what's going on here. This is, again, some of your confrontations, I guess, with city bylaw officers and with the police. And they actually came to, I don't know why, they took your sign, but they actually walked off with it, right? And you asked them what was going on. Did they explain to you at all? Or?
No, they, God spoke to us that there's a great fear that is coming upon them. And that's just an example of when you walk with authority of God. The only thing they could do, that sign was in the middle of the park, far, far away from us. And then suddenly someone screams from the homeless, they are stealing your sign. So we go over there. I ran with the camera just to capture that on tape. There was no explanation from the bylaws. Technically, the bylaw officers with the police officers stole our property without giving us a reason for it, without giving us paperwork, nothing. They just took our property and they were captured on tape.
Now, reality is, of course, I mean, it didn't hurt anybody, that sort of thing. But to do that, I guess you have a case to make. What are the lawyers telling you in this case?
Well, that's why I did send a letter to the mayor asking him for peace. And if I can read the last line, just to let the people know that God says if you can make peace with men, that's the first thing you should do.
That's what you need to pursue first.
And we as a church, we always extend our hand for peace. And I've met with the city officials many times, and every time I was there, that's our job. That's our constitutional rights, and that's our job given to us by God. So I'm writing to the mayor asking him for peace, especially at this time of election. Like, why fight when we are not breaking any laws? So once again, I wish to make it clear that the desires of the Street Church are not to fight against you or any other city officials and departments, but rather to work for the common good together as partners so we can all live in a more loving place. that's ultimately what we want. That's what
Yeah.
Jesus wanted. But he says, I did not came here to give peace, but a sword.
Yeah, there's going to be some
spiritual
confrontation, right?
battle.
And that's the whole tension here again. Is Art Pawlowski walking on the right side of the line here or not? I mean, Peter was a kind of a confrontational guy too, and maybe we need people like that in the church as well to make some things happen. Okay. And again, it's just a fine line that's there, and maybe sometimes we cross the line, and that's in our humanity. You know what I'm saying? But did they ever give the sign back, by the way?
No, they never give the sign back. And what was interesting, I
Okay.
took a Charter of Rights when those police officers and the bylaws were taking this sign, and they put it in their van. So I took the Constitution and I started through the loudspeakers, preach to them and say, guys, you're breaking your own laws that you should uphold and protect.
Right.
And
right.
then seconds, it took them a second, boom, they were gone. Because they know they're breaking the law. They know what we are doing is not wrong.
Right.
And the only thing they could do is to take this pitiful-looking, old, beaten-up sign.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of an odd thing. Now, the Attorney General actually told you that you could actually pursue this legally, and you have a case that would stand up in court. You're saying?
Yeah, but we prefer not to go that road. We are still in negotiation
And I would
with
agree.
the city.
Pursue that route first.
Yes.
All
If
right.
we will not have an option, then we will not have an option. But today everything is in negotiation.
We also met with police department in this area district and talked to those people. And policemen said, we like what you're doing. We are for you. We are
So you're
with
saying
you.
that the officers on the ground are saying,
Yes.
what, you guys are basically doing a good job.
Many of them are Christians.
We had police officers coming to the street church with their uniforms and saying to us, we have false complaints all the time. And right now we just came to tell you that you're not even playing music, nothing. We received a complaint that you're too noisy. So we know they are lying about you, and we like what you're doing. And again, a new police officers came and they said, we have a guy in the back in the van, you should preach to him. Maybe something will happen, something will change. So they start to realize that their lives are changed. Those people are really changing.
All right.
And they said to me, one drug dealer less is one less for us.
Absolutely. And again, as far as tax dollars wisely spent, let's chase the drug dealers, not the gospel preachers. All right, let's take Kathleen's call from Alberta. Hi, Kathleen.
Hi. I just have a comment to make about regarding how they are preaching the message and whether or not it should be downplayed a little bit, to kind of get along better. And I think it's great to work in peace with the law and with society, but there just seems to be a double standard. For example, with like secular non-Christian points, whenever there's a proposal for a gay pride parade or something, it's shouted out freedom of speech, let them go ahead. And it just seems like when you're trying to do something Christian, it seems like there's so much more reluctance for it. It's kind of frustrating.
I hear you, Kathleen. You do have a point, what can you say? It is a spiritual battle that manifests itself in the natural as well. I know, for example, they did have the gay pride games or something, the out games, I guess it was in Calgary, and I know you preached there actually, to the homosexual community, not because you hate them, but because you love them. And of course, but reality is, there it's on the screen. You had some reaction, people were mocking you, and I understand there was even some, some same-sex necking going on in the background, that sort of thing, and people yelling at you. That's part of the price to pay, I guess. And you're okay to pay that price as long as, but maybe there's a line crossed when somebody starts taking legal action against you, saying, hold on a second, we should have the same freedom here, right?
That's right. That's what we asked the city of Calgary. We got 17,000 permits being given away in the city of Calgary. We just want to be treated equally. We don't ask for a special favor. We already have that with God. We don't need a special favor from the city of Calgary. We want to be treated like gays, like lesbians, like all those other groups, in other faith groups, like Muslims and Buddhists. Just give us the same rights. They have a permit. They can use loudspeakers.
You feel you are unfairly being targeted specifically because you're Christian?
That's right.
Okay. All right. So your thoughts? Does Art have a martyr's complex, or is it really happening? Are people somehow, maybe even subconsciously, opposed to the gospel message? What do you think? All right, some lines open at 1-888-816-2545. Feel free to agree or disagree on this one. You're perfectly fine to do that. Let's take Lynn's call from Ontario. Hi, Lynn.